What do you want?
To talk. Also, to stab you to death. Later.
Wait, why?
Because I'm being paid to, obviously. Also, I've always loved stabbing people, the squelching the...
No, why? Why do you want to talk?
Because it's polite.
If you're going to kill me, asshole, just kill me. Don't waste my time.
Oh, Mr. Stevens. Where's your sense of fun?
So, we start in a really unfortunate place where Sawyer and Andrew are basically the only people who are not currently in a very compromising situation.
Is the finale.
I love 110.
It's the big culmination. So what happened with 110 is, it's the culmination. Like everything comes crashing down.
Yeah, the
all,
last
all at the
episode.
same time. It's the finale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Angelica is stranded in the Dream Forest, while somebody else wreaks havoc in her name. Scout has been taken captive by Knife Man, who has his own agenda for Scout, and I don't know, they're just kind of trying to deal with that. They're like,
yeah.
What do we do here? Because the school is still in danger.
Everyone is dealing with everything that has built up over the course of this season.
And because we were building up to going off to the races in 108, 109, we're really off to the races now, and everybody's down to the wire, and it's a rough one, and we're dealing with lots of emotions, and it's a lot of things.
Yeah, so me and Andrew and a couple of the minor characters get put in a position where we have to choose between saving the entire school and trying to help out with Scout and Angelica's position.
That one, actually, believe it or not, that script was not written
when we began shooting.
When we started shooting. We actually had a lot of footage available, but we were still trying to organize. I mean, there were still a lot of moving parts, and Craig was, bless his heart, trying to do his best to...
He did a great job.
What's really cool is, what's really different about this episode is Craig didn't write this episode until we were halfway through the season. So basically the way we did the season is we did the first 2 episodes and we had a deadline to finish them because they were for a project for Craig in advanced comm class. But then we were like, so are we gonna finish the season out? Yes, no, maybe. We decided to go with it, and Craig wrote 110 after the fact. A lot of the season had already been filmed. There were obviously still chunks missing here and there, or actually not. We were probably 45%, 50% done, and Craig writes 110, and 110 we're all just I remember Jordan and I read 110. We were sitting in her car waiting for Holden to come to the library because we were filming. We were sitting there and we read 110 and we looked at each other. We were just like, holy fuck.
Probably the ending where we sort of see how the events of the finale affected the survivors. Before we head into our may or may not be cliffhanger.
Obviously, I think it's pretty intuitive. I think it's pretty obvious that that's going to end in a big fight.
Yeah.
Which was
that was fun to film. Also
very
hard.
Fun. It's a very unique fight.
It's
in terms of the details of it, it's not just throwing punches and swinging knives. It's a little bit more than that.
My other favorite was shooting the 110 party, because that was at my house. And we had filmed that twice, because the first time, all of my extras got sick.
Literally every single one of them got mono, right?
Yup! You cannot make up the stuff that we deal with during 2.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we filmed it twice. Both times were a lot of fun, because I got to meet large portions of the cast that I hadn't met before. So it was really cool to meet people and interact. And also just we had to improv a lot of scenes, and the scenes we improv were all very funny.
But when it started to get, there was one part of the fight where we had to shoot, where we had 1 take to do it. I was the camera person, and I knew what was going to happen, but I still screamed in the middle of the take.
It was a surprising moment.
I was worried for your safety, you and Craig. I was worried.
Yeah.
I think my favorite things about 110 is that's the episode where Sawyer gets to use her powers the most. Her powers are kind of irrelevant for most of the story, other than just being being powers. But she actually finally gets to use them in 110, and so that was nice.
I would argue that she's at her most badass in this.
There's this one bit, I can't say too much, but it's at the school in like a lab. It was so much fun to film.
Wild.
It's so wild.
That's the scene that Jordan and I, while we were reading one time, we were like,
I feel like
goodness.
such a bad literally to get into this lab to film it, because like this is summer.
This
so
is
school
over the summer.
Closed.
School is closed.
So I have to go charm a
we had to,
janitor
sneak
into letting us in.
We had to sneak into the building
Got
a couple
into the building,
different
snuck
times.
into the building. Yeah, okay. Then we had to like convince him to let us in because it was like for our school project. Originally, we were like, yeah, it's for a school project, because originally episodes 1 and 1 and 2 were. But it was like we got him to let us into the lab to work a little bit. We were like going around this lab, like yelling, running, like it was crazy. So yeah, I don't want to say anything else, but
It's a good time. It's a good time.
oh my god, that was definitely like hardcore my favorite scene to film.
I can see why.
My favorite parts of 110 are Knife Man in 110 because he's hilarious. There are some real good bits. And then also, what else? There's so many. But I don't know how many I can say without being spoilery. There is some stuff we filmed in the woods that was a lot of fun to film as well, but that's pretty much all I can say about it. And also there was a nice action sequence and a nice scene with Scout and Angelica in there that's kind of meta, but also really cool. Craig wrote this in June while he was away in Sri Lanka, and we were filming a lot of Angie stuff. And he was like, hey, Olivia, how do you feel about this crazy thing that I'm about to write? And I was like, well, I mean, write it and we'll see, because it's pretty crazy. We managed to pull it off, but it's pretty weird. And it looks really nice. And there's some more stuff that happens with the twins and their connection, and we get to learn a little bit more about what's happening here. And we get to also, we see a lot more stuff from our villains as well. They pull out all the stops on this one.
I actually feel like 110, the hardest thing was just the fact that when we were, the scripts took a lot longer than most of the other ones to get ready, and honestly, this was an episode where Kristen having to leave became a problem, where we had a lot of trouble, and as of filming this right now, we still don't have it. We had lots of times where people couldn't be in the same place at the same time, so we had to film very creatively.
When all of my extras
got sick.
Every
single one of them got mono. That was a rough one because we had to film the party again.
Yeah, filming the party twice was my mom was like, "Do you really need to have 30 kids at our house twice?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm."
110 was hard to schedule, and we still haven't finished scheduling 110.
I mean, I'm done.
Yeah, I have one scene left, and it's not in 110, but there's some Joey scenes that haven't really happened.
Get that done.
Also, the lab scene.
Well, 110. Well, lab scene was hard, but there was also like, you and I have a lot in 110. Remember?
Yeah.
Voodoo shit. Our favorite scene in the show. My personal favorite scene in the show is in 110.
Yeah. 110 is such a good
110
episode.
is a good episode because like everything comes crashing down, but it's also a really funny episode. Like there's a lot of punchlines in it.
This now.
So there is a part of 110 that we needed a creepy space for Knife Man to do creepy things.
Wrecked my barn.
That happened at a very peculiar time that we needed. It was a very specific time that we needed to film, and we couldn't come up with the right space to do it.
Because we were going to do it at my barn, and then like some family issues came up, and so we couldn't use my barn, and so we had like literally last minute we had to change locations.
Yeah, and we ended up and we went over to Jordan's old house. We went to the wrong house. Got kicked out of there. That was me and Olivia.
Yeah.
And then when we got to the right house, which we ended up getting kicked out of also.
Yeah, I was there for that.
We were looking at some of the sheds, and we just did not have any light, any natural light to actually. It was just too dark. So
my other hard thing was there were just so many hard bits that we had to sort of toss together at the last minute for this episode, and it was a challenge. But it still is not the hardest episode we've had. 108, 109 is definitely the hardest episode we've had. But 110, there's a lot of things happening, and we needed a lot of people for a lot of different things, and so that's pretty much where we were with that.
Yeah, it required a lot of casting.
Yeah.
Fun fact, in a moment in the fight, where I am in the grass,
You're talking about spiders?
Yes, there's footage of, and I felt it too, of not one, not two, but three spiders crawling down my shirt.
Like, yeah, okay, I think another thing, like, 107 on, that's when it gets sci-fi, like...
Yeah,
like,
106, 101 to 106 is kind of just building up this high school environment, and like, oh, weird shit's happening, but it's fine. 107 to 110 is when it goes hardcore sci-fi.
You're like, oh crap, there's so much more I did not understand.
Yeah, and also 108, 109 is when you see there's this huge backstory, but like, this isn't just one event, this is something that's been built up to for...
Like, the whole season.
No, like, this has been something that's been building, it's like been building up to this moment for like centuries.
Yeah, no, and so like 107 through 109, like, all the sci-fi stuff is happening to the characters, and in like 110, the characters like start to understand it,
and they start to fight back.
use it. Like, they can use the sci-fi against everything that's happening.
Okay.
Anything else you say on them?
I hope it's a satisfying conclusion. I think finales are really hard to do, and I don't think ours is perfect. But I think it'll be a good ending to the season, possibly the series, and I think we had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. I feel like when I watch the finale, it's gonna be a good closure.
Last thing I want to say about 110 is it's my favorite episode because I think it gives every character closure and development and potential.
Yeah, it's a lot of people's favorite, that and 107.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's a good episode. Okay.
That's really all.
That's the last one, but anything to say about 2 as a whole?
The 2... Filming, writing, and like filming.
It took like a year and a
half,
half, right?
casting too. Yeah, I've been doing this since like June of 2017.
It is now November 2018.
It's now November 2018. Like, it's been almost a year and a half, and we're not done. So it's gonna be more than a year and a half.
Yeah, we aren't done. That's true.
Still season 2, but but like no, it's been such an incredible experience. I love everyone. I've learned a ton, just like on how to work with people and like how to organize. And like what it means to like keep going when things are really, really tough to just film. And like the characters themselves, like I feel like there's so many good messages in the show, and like it's really touching just as a show on like who you get to know.
Yeah, and like even though there is all this sci-fi shit going down, a lot of the characters have a really raw like basis. Like they face the same problems that your average high schooler does, you know, with the stabby guy.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Because like there are a lot of the things like that surprisingly, like I didn't expect it when I joined the cast, but like there are a lot of things that I like related to more than I expected to. Even when I started with Andrew, I was like, this character is nothing like me. But even as we were going on, and even after the fact, I'm realizing like there are certain aspects of him that I can say like I have experienced.
Yeah. Definitely.
Just basically the way I ended up doing this was we were doing Pippin at our high school, and Robin, who is Wing, and Emily Klein, who is Jenny, they came up to me and they're like, hey, so like we need an actor to play this character in the show. And at first I was like, okay, sure, keep me posted. But like I was like, yeah, sounds cool. Like I didn't really commit to it until like after we actually got into it. I was like, this is some cool shit. I'm like, I'm down. And that was the story of 2's birth.
No, like starting with 2, like
I joined maybe what 6-7 months ago.
Yeah,
I was way late compared to most of these other people.
It was like it started, and Craig just texted me. He's like, hey, I have this idea, and I was like, tell me more. And then
tell me more.
Okay.
We were definitely on different.
Oh yeah, we were.
I said tell me about this. Okay, go.
But yeah, so like we just worked all summer on like creating this concept, and then we were like, are we actually doing this? And then like the fact that we did was just like so cool.